Here are the ingredients for our Armenian stuffed pumpkin recipe. Sugar pumpkin, golden raisins, dried apricots, almonds, soaked overnight, then peeled, candied fruit, honey, ground cinnamon, sliced pistachios, butter, rice. Just boil it until 70% cooked. The rest will cook inside the pumpkin. And finally, brown sugar. Now it's time to carve the pumpkin. I'm cutting a star-shaped lid on top. You can do any shape you like. But I thought a star would look pretty. The skin is quite firm, so go slowly and carefully. Once the lid is cut, gently lift it off, just like I did. And there it is, the inside full of seeds and fibers, ready to be cleaned. Be careful though. I found out later I had a few tiny cuts on my hands from carving. Next, it's time to clean the inside of the pumpkin. At first, I tried scraping it out with a spoon, but later I just started using my hands. It was actually much easier that way. Make sure to remove all the seeds and stringy fibers. It might take a few minutes, but clean it well so the inside is smooth and ready for filling. You can save the pumpkin seeds if you like. Roast them later for a healthy snack. Make sure our pumpkin is all clean and hollow inside. Perfect for the next step. Now in a pan, add about 2 tablespoons of butter. Start with medium heat. And once the butter melts, add the golden raisins, sliced pistachios, almonds, and chopped dried apricots. Stir them gently. You'll start to smell that warm, nutty aroma. After a minute or so, lower the heat to medium-low and keep sauteing until everything turns lightly golden. This step brings out the natural sweetness and makes the nuts beautifully fragrant. Now let's prepare the rice. In a separate pot, I added some water and brought it to a boil. Then I added the rice and cooked it until it was about 70% done. It shouldn't be fully soft, just slightly firm in the center, because it will finish cooking inside the pumpkin. Okay, now let's start preparing the pumpkin for stuffing. First, I added about 2 tablespoons of melted butter inside the pumpkin. Then, I poured in about half a cup of honey. Using a brush, I rubbed the butter and honey mixture all around the inside. Make sure to coat it nicely. This will give the pumpkin a beautiful glaze and a naturally sweet flavor when it bakes. Once it's all coated, we're ready to add our rice and nut mixture. Now it's time to start stuffing the pumpkin. I added the boiled rice. It's about 70% cooked. Then I added the sautéed nuts, raisins, and apricots mixture. Next, sprinkle some ground cinnamon for that warm, comforting flavor. You can also add a little brown sugar or drizzle some honey if you like your rice sweeter. Repeat the layers again, rice, nuts, and cinnamon until the pumpkin is filled. And finally, I added about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar on top before closing the lid. This will give the filling a nice caramel sweetness as it bakes. Now I'm cleaning the outside of the pumpkin with a kitchen paper towel, just to remove any extra moisture or stickiness. Once it's clean and dry, I'm glazing it with a little bit of oil. I'm using a brush to coat it evenly. This helps the pumpkin bake beautifully and gives it a nice shine. Now the pumpkin is going into the oven. I'm baking it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. For about 2 hours, it will bake slowly and evenly. This is actually my first time trying this recipe, so I really hope it turns out good. Look how beautiful the pumpkin looks already. I used a sugar pumpkin, also called a pie pumpkin, because it's smaller, sweeter, and has a smoother texture compared to the big Jacko lantern ones. And here it is. The pumpkin is out of the oven. Just look at it. It bakes beautifully. As I remove the lid, the smell fills the room. It's absolutely amazing. I start cutting it, and the aroma is just incredible. Look at those colors. Pistachios, apricots, raisins, both black and golden, and white almonds all shining through. It tastes so good, but I feel I should have added 2 tablespoons of brown sugar in the middle as well, and maybe a tablespoon of butter on top before closing the lid, because it's not very sweet. Still, the pumpkin tastes delicious, soft, buttery, and perfectly mixed with the rice and nuts. Guys, you have to try this recipe. It's cozy. Colorful and full of fall flavors.